Campuses across America, many of them highly elite and now hotbeds for Jewish hate. Some of those leaders of those campuses had to answer for failing to fight the rise in anti-Semitism, which is dangerous to the students on campus. Lawmakers held their feet to the fire at a hearing. You saw part of it live here.
It demands leaders of moral clarity.
This intimidation, humiliation, and exclusion of Jewish students is simply unacceptable. It would not be tolerated against any other minority group.
You're speaking out of both sides of your mouth. You're defending it. You allow these professors to teach at your college. You create a safe haven for this type of anti-Semitic behavior.
A Harvard student calling for the mass murder of African Americans is not protected free speech at Harvard, correct?
Our commitment to free speech.
It's a yes or no question. Is that corrected? The use of the term intifada in the context of the Israeli-Arab conflict is indeed a call for violent armed resistance against the state of Israel, including violence against civilians and the genocide of Jews. Are you aware of that?
That type of hateful speech is personally abhorrent to me.
You heard her there. House Republican Conference Chair Elise Stefanik is in focus right now. First of all, just take us into the moment when you started to ask the questions of these presidents and your first reaction hearing the answers that have gone viral.
Well, Harris, I've been in a number of very high-profile congressional hearings over the years, and the pathetic moral depravity on display by the witnesses, the three university presidents from Harvard, MIT, and Penn, I've never witnessed anything like that. And I asked the question in such a way that it was an easy yes, that calling for the genocide of Jews, in fact, does violate their policies and code of conduct when it comes to bullying and harassment. And their answers were pathetic. I was so shaken, Harris, and what was probably the most tragic aspect of the hearing to me was there were a number of Jewish students from those schools in the audience, sitting behind them, and to watch just the fear as they're listening to the presidents of these universities fail to answer a basic question of moral clarity, it was abysmal. They don't deserve the dignity of resigning. They need to be fired.
All right, we have a Jewish senior at UPenn with this earlier. Let's watch together.
It was a petri dish of the bacteria of anti-Semitism and hate. It's no longer just words. It's actions being taken on our campus. And I really hope, reflecting upon her testimony yesterday, Liz McGill will send out a statement and retract what she said yesterday.
Outside of yesterday's hearing, Congresswoman, a group of students held anti-Israel events demanding that the universities hear their voices too. Watch this.
Jewish students are not safe until Palestinian, Arab, Black, and Muslim students are also safe.
That sounds like a threat. Jewish students are not safe until everybody else feels safe. So what happens to Jewish students in the meantime?
It is a threat, Harris, and I have heard not only from Jewish alumni, but Jewish students who feel unsafe when they go to their classes, who are threatened with physical assaults, who have been physically assaulted, who take the mezuzahs down from their doorways, who fear wearing Stars of David. It's absurd that this is happening in the 21st century on so-called elite college campuses. I'm a graduate of Harvard University, and this should never happen at Harvard or anywhere. And the reality, Harris, is if you put 3 middle schoolers across America and ask them the same question, they would correctly answer the question and say that it's wrong. And the fact that these presidents of universities could not answer it, it has rotted out our ivory towers and these intellectual institutions who do not understand moral clarity.
Look, the moment that stood out to me, you were interviewing Elizabeth McGill, who's the president at University of Pennsylvania, UPenn, one of those 8 elite colleges, 8 of some of the most expensive, high-profile learning in this country. And when you ask her, does the genocide of Jews constitute harassment, her back and forth with you lit up on social media like fire. She could not answer that with a simple yes. And you seem to get emotional when you ask her whether or not it would take actual acting of genocide to get her to say, yes, those words are wrong.
Well, in her testimony, Harris, she actually said it will take conduct or action. So, of course, I followed up and said, what do you mean it will take action? The act of committing genocide? And she couldn't even answer that. Yes, it was absurd to have that back and forth. That's why they're not fit to be in those positions. And this is not just an issue in the United States, Harris. This is a global scourge that we are seeing of the rise of anti-Semitism.
We're supposed to be the best, though.
We are supposed to be the best.
This nation is the best. So we may not be able to fix the world, but we're supposed to fix what's inside our own borders. So my question to you is, are those universities getting money from the federal government? Are they getting our tax dollars?
They currently are, and they need to be defunded.
So what do we do to stop it?
I've been one of the strongest voices when it comes to defunding universities that allow anti-Semitism to promulgate on their campuses. And we're going to continue taking that strong stance. I also think we need to continue holding these specific institutions, hold accountability and make sure they are fired.
Congresswoman Elise Stefanik, you had the mic and you dropped it yesterday. Thank you. Good to have you in focus.